Good morning, everybody. We are back. It is the right side of campus, and we are live on a Friday, a football Friday, September 14th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus, here with my co-host, Donnie right side. Donnie, week 3 college, week 2 NFL. We got week 2 NFL going last night with the Bengals and Ravens. Got a lot more football over the weekend. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Hey, look, again, that old adage goes, Jeff, you want to burn a little bit of money, bet on the road team on a Thursday night. 2-0 to start the season, even though game one really isn't a true Thursday night road game with the ramifications of only having a couple days to prepare. But last night, Jeff, one team was ready to go at the get-go, one team was not. We'll cover it all today here on the right side of campus.
Looking forward to that and more. Make sure you hit the like button and support the show. Make sure you also retweet the show on Twitter. It's a great way to get it out to people that might not see it on a regular basis, add to the listener base, and to let them know that you enjoy football because we do football here at SBR. So, Donnie, how was your night last night? What did you do? Anything fun?
It was good. Sat back, watched a little bit of games, broke down some, film from last week. Still catching up on a couple games, getting some interesting topics ready together. But you're right, man. Saturday full college card, Sunday full NFL card. Overreaction weekend in the NFL. Were the Ravens, Jeff, as good as they were opening day? Apparently not. Are the Cincinnati Bengals formidable? Looks like they might be. A lot to go over, man. It's gonna be fun. Season's just kicking off, man. We're gonna have a good time.
Let's get into our headlines here. Let's go into our chat here as always. Always a nice way to start the day. So, seeing all the people in the chat. Uh, who's in the chat already, Donnie? Why don't you let us know?
Looks like Sportsbook review is in here. Von Polo, Jansen Bonzone, Lawrence Stockhouse, and Troy V, and one Donnie Rightside. How about that?
Just people filtering in as we get started here. We'll start out with a few morning headlines here. David Wright, Donnie. We haven't heard from David Wright in a while. David Wright's been kind of on the shelf. He's been injured for a long time. He hasn't played since 2016. What didn't play this year? Didn't play last year. Been a long time. Listen, Donnie, I think a lot of people will kind of scoff at David Wright. What's he doing this for? Look, the truth of the matter is David Wright's going to retire. He's not coming back. I think he just wanted one more day in the sun. I almost look at this and it's almost sad, really. I mean, you see a guy who obviously, he was a terrific player. He's got a 50 WAR with the Mets. He's one of their best players ever, if not their best player ever. He's been a terrific Met. Um, Listen, I'm not a Met guy. I don't like the Mets, but you almost look at David Wright and say he's going to have one more day in the sun. I guess late in September. He seemed pretty emotional yesterday. You look at his career numbers, Donnie. First in at bats, first in runs, first in hits, first in doubles, first in RBIs, second in home runs in Mets career numbers. Terrific player. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, some interesting thoughts in there. He wants one last go around with Jose Reyes next to him so they can recreate all those world championship titles, division
They're
titles,
not.
magical
It's
playoff
funky.
runs out there. Oh well, hey,
Eh,
but you know what I mean? Those let's recreate all the. What did they win? 3, 4 World Series? It's gonna be awesome to see those two side by side one last time.
Yeah, listen, I think you're a little out of line here. I think he's just trying to end his career. I think he just wants one more kind of shot out there just to he loves baseball, recreate his youth. He's obviously ended it a bit early. He has been injured for a long time. Look, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. I'm sure they won't even they'll saw it up there one last time. He'll get a send off and we'll see him go away. But David Wright, you almost got to feel bad. The guy, from what I've read and heard, it takes him forever to even get ready for the game. He's old. Yeah, I got to also wonder why even do this. Why not just
Yeah,
you know
why not pull out all
like
the
an
stops?
advantage?
Last home game up there, let Tim Tebow, I know he had surgery, but look, even if he has one hand, let him get like a one-handed swing up there. We can have a whole carnival atmosphere up in, Flushing, Queens to sort of send the Mets off to another disastrous season. And then, you know what, Jeff, we could spend the next 4 to 5 months going, ooh, if the Mets pitching staff can just stay healthy this year, they're going to make a run. And by next July, we'll be laughing when they're all in the DL again and the same type of MO goes around.
Yeah, and Donnie, look, I'm not trying to get in a fight with you today. I'm just asking. Are you ever like compassionate with any of these guys? Like
No, I don't care
you
about the
every
Mets.
time
I
someone
don't like
retires,
the Mets at all. It's a New York
no, I'm
team. I'm
not
going to go
saying you.
after them. I'm not
I
a, you know,
I don't. I don't.
it is what it is.
I'm not saying you don't have to like the Mets. I'm not saying that, but I mean, the Mets aren't winning anything. What's the big deal here? I mean, just let
No,
the
I know,
guy
but
come
but
out.
see, here I would go in on the Phillies. Like you know how Ryan Howard just sent his Ryan Howard basically retired in 2014, but for some reason sent a letter to the Athletic about he's finally hanging it up. Like I would go at the Phillies, Jeff, if since they're going to be out of it. Their last weekend, they should bring back Ryan Howard for a couple of bats just to get that. Maybe even throw Jimmy Rollins back at shortstop one last time. It's a professional team, man. Either you can play or you can't play. What's up with the publicity stunts? I want to sell an extra 3 tickets, but then again, this is the Madoff Mets where they do need every dollar they can get because they are stone broke.
I don't see the problem with it. Good for David Wright. I think he's earned it. Been a good player. Been a great player actually. Um, and you're right. They didn't win the World Series, but they got to one. I guess that's good enough, right?
Yeah, hey,
I don't know, but yeah. Enjoying breakfast along with the show. Great. What are you
I
eating,
want
Jimmy?
breakfast. Mm.
Yeah, I want. Yeah, me too. Give me a nice omelet. I'd like an omelet right now.
Yeah.
Uh, Michael Kendricks, apparently, white collar crime, Donnie, not enough to derail an NFL career. How about that? A few weeks after Michael Kendricks is involved in an insider trading scheme, he gets released and claimed by the Seattle Seahawks. He signs a contract with them. Not only does he await this is according to Ian Rappaport, Donnie. Not only does he await federal sentencing, but the NFL has not ruled on his case. Um, this seems desperation mode by the Seahawks. He might go to. He probably. According to federal guidelines, Donnie, I think the minimum for inside trading is 30 months. So that's a big gamble on someone that hasn't even been dealt with by the NFL. Um, Apparently, this isn't enough though to derail him, Donnie.
No, it's you look at it. We talked about it before. It's you're going to get him cheap, yes, but when you have a federal indictment coming down where you're probably going to jail, maybe I'm not invested in the playbook so much. Maybe I'm just looking for a paycheck because I'm going to have to cover some legal costs. I'm going to have to pay back some restitution on this. And, maybe I don't work out as hard in late November because I say, what's the point anyway? I'm going to be going to jail soon and, my football career is going to be over. Good for Michael Kendricks getting a couple more paychecks, a couple $100,000 a week. That's going to go a long way because for all intents and purposes, this isn't Michael Vick, top of the line going away to jail for a prison for what, 24 months, coming back out and still having a future. This is a swan song probably for Michael Kendricks here in his NFL career. Take some paychecks there, but again, if it's me, Jeff, last thing I'm doing is worrying about football when I'm about to go to jail.
Yeah, it's funny because it says he gets sentenced in January. So let's look. It's unlikely, but let's say that Seahawks go to the Super Bowl. So what? He just won't play in the Super Bowl and just go off to jail. Oh,
Yeah.
congrats, guys. Good luck. I already won a Super Bowl last year, though. It's all right. See you. I'm gonna head out to jail now. Um, Any news today? We're getting anxious. Settle down, Troy V. Troy Lee, listen, it's nothing. I'd love to tell you, but we can't contractually tell you. You'll know soon, Troy. All right. Would love to hear your thoughts on Kansas being a favorite against Rutgers. All right, let me jot that down. We'll get to that during the college
Hmm.
ranks. Um, Settle down, Hutton. We're not talking about Paul Manafort today. Can't do that on this show. No Paul Manafort talk, Connie. I read that he wouldn't be sentenced until January. So yeah, might as well have fun while you're free. Good point, but yeah, maybe he knows. Maybe he's just he accepts responsibility. They give him a big fine, and that will be it. But yeah, I guess you try to want to collect one more paycheck if you can, right? Maybe a nice payday here with the Seahawks. I don't know. They're not paying him a lot though, I'm sure.
Yeah, probably
Donnie,
vet minimum, whatever it would be at there. But again, like you're going away in January. If you were like, this isn't like Goodfellas and some mob movies that you watch where they party it up till they go away and just do their time. Normal civilians are wired a little bit differently. That when jail or prison is up on deck, they're not really partying before they go away. They're probably pretty worried about it.
Yeah, this is a whole, yeah, like you said, this isn't someone that's a hardened criminal. He's never been to prison before. This isn't something your mob guy goes away. It's like it's just normal. Everybody goes away. But,
Yep.
um, in fact, Donnie, speaking of this, we talked about John Gotti movie yesterday. One thing they did get correct in that movie was, John Gotti, he had a lot of reservations about Sam Gravano. That you know why he never trusted Sam Gravano, but he ended up trusting him anyway? He said if you never went to jail, he wouldn't do business with you because
Yeah.
when you go to jail, you've paid the price for something,
Well, no,
and
if you,
Gravano never.
what he's also saying too is if you haven't gone to jail, which means like they're going to see your MO. Did you snitch at trial to save a couple
Yeah,
months
like
or
what
stay out
happened?
of
Right.
prison? Did you go in the joint and hold like people up in there and sing like a bird? Or did you go to jail, shut your mouth, do your time, and come out and they say, you know what, I
Or
can
you're
trust that guy. Yeah, yeah,
or you went to jail, you're more inclined to, take a pinch. You could take a pinch.
yep,
You're
yep,
trustworthy. You're not going to skate out of stuff. And it ended up fucking John. Obviously,
like
clearly.
a Bronx Tale. Yeah,
Sure, you gotta be able to,
yeah.
do that. And Gravano never did. Donnie,
Yeah.
college basketball news. This is near and dear to my heart, and I'm very happy we could talk about it today. Gonzaga got some big news yesterday. Donnie, Gonzaga comes into the season top 5 in the country, got a terrific roster, maybe Mark's best roster yet. But they got even stronger yesterday. Gino Crandall. I don't know if you remember this name, Donnie.
I
North
do remember the
Dakota. He
name.
played for North Dakota. 16 and a half points a game, 4 boards a game. He enrolled at Gonzaga, and he will be there by the start of the season. So Crandall will be playing there as a graduate transfer. Big news. This is a big scoring punch you're going to get. Really, your only scoring guard right now you have is Josh Perkins. This is a team full of bigs, Tilly, Hachimura. They have some big time players in the forefront, but as far as guards are concerned, you need someone like this. This is a big time get for few. And I'm excited about it, Donnie. I really like this Zaga team this year as we head into the season. So a nice scoring punch, Donnie, for Mark Few. Always nice to get these kind
Yeah,
of guys.
yeah. No, we'll see how it turns out there. A little bit early for college basketball, but when it's in the news, we want to talk about it.
It's never too early for college basketball. Never say that again, Donnie. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Going to jail on the Fed levels like a country club. Settle down, John Roy. Maybe for Kendricks, but why don't we send you out to the Fed building in Colorado? We'll see if it's like a country club to you. Doubtful. There's levels to this shit, John. You got to go to certain facilities. Certain facilities, you're right, but most are not very nice. Um, I love Gonzaga. I do like Gonzaga. I've never wavered from that. Did you get a haircut? Yes. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I just combed it quickly this morning. That game was disgusting last night. If you had the under, LOL. Nah, it was pretty much over early if you had the under. Donnie, let's keep it going. Let's go to someone who is in prison. Let's go to someone that is a total scumbag. Donnie, you have to wonder here. I mean, at what point does Michigan State have some sort of fault for this? I mean, there's another case for Larry Nasser that's just come in that supposedly he fathered a child. Is this true? I'm
Yeah,
just
I
reading
haven't
this.
seen the latest updates, but yeah,
He
it's
drug
again
raped and
they're
impregnated a
lucky
teen.
if this would have been what before the Jerry Sandusky stuff, Michigan State might have been wiped off the map with a nuclear bomb at this point, kicked out of the Big Ten and being playing Division III and lose their accreditation as a university. But since we saw what happened at Penn State, it seems like after the Penn State thing, nobody cares about anything out there. So if Penn State had 20 or 30 victims. Hey, well, Michigan State had like 400 victims from one guy. Yeah, but Michigan State didn't do anything wrong in this instance. This is a disgrace, that it's even allowed to even go on. But when you get desensitized as a human race because of what you see on TV every day, it's almost like if you're not first, you're last. So whoever comes after, what's the next one going to be? Some university where 1,000 people were sexually assaulted or molested, and we're going to say it's no big deal. So I mean, Penn State, rightfully so, got a heavy penalty. But it seems like the NCAA doesn't want to step in anywhere else. And Michigan just says, you know what? Michigan State says, really wasn't that big of a deal. And as Tom Izzo would say, as long as we can win this basketball game on Saturday, the healing process has started.
Yeah, I mean, the new lawsuit says that basically they were made aware of a videotaped rape of Larry Nasser is covered up, and the total coach who was reported to resign and strip the victim of a scholarship. I mean, how long are these stunts going to be put up with by this fucking university? I mean, again, Donnie. I mean, what? I don't understand what it matters though. It's happened now. What does it matter when it happened? It's happened. and they didn't do
No,
anything about it, and they covered it
yeah,
up.
no, that's because the NCAA doesn't step in anymore. They crossed their boundary on something that had nothing to do with football and penalized Penn State. Penn State cried about it, rebounded, but now everything after it's like mass shooting, Jeff. Ha!
Mm.
Only 21 people in this mass shooting. That's not that much. Do you see what I mean? Like that's a ton. One is too many. But now we're so
Yeah, we'll
desensitized to saying, man, this guy hit 400 people. The next guy that hits 20 people, oh, that's not that bad.
yeah, we'll figure it out next time, as long as it doesn't happen again.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
the
That's
problem
always
is
it.
it keeps
We'll
happening.
pray on the
Uh-huh.
situation. We'll make a couple payments out, and hopefully nobody talks about it again.
Exactly. What a
Yep.
shame. I mean, what an absolute shame. Um, I hate, Michigan State. I began to hate. I definitely hate now. I mean, I, what a shame. But hey, when it happens again, we'll deal with it at that point. Uh, it's a real shame. Keep moving here. Weather time change, Donnie. Why don't you update us on this?
Yeah, I
A
think
lot of
Georgia now, Jeff. Also, University of Georgia moved their football game now. Didn't cancel it, but I believe moved the time up. I didn't see the exact time change of it, but it looks like you're probably going to get some of these filtering through over the next couple hours. But it's pretty hard to set because most of these teams, Jeff, obviously being Friday, it's a travel day for most of the universities. So I'm pretty sure they're probably already in town. But I believe the Georgia game has been moved out. There have been a couple cancellations: Norfolk, Liberty, Marshall, South Carolina, Southern Miss, App State, and ECU, Virginia Tech. But some other games on the move as well. And if you saw last night, Jeff, the game with Wake Forest, no implications there. Easily covered the total in that one. And if you looked at the Charlotte game yesterday, which was going on, which we'll recap in just a few moments, there was bright sunny for that game. So we'll see what happens with some of these remnants, as we like to say, Jeff, of rain and wind that are going to hit the southeast.
um, I see people talking. Teddy B saying that he doesn't think clenbuterol is a steroid. First off, Teddy B, we've talked about this before. Listen, according to different, whether it's the International Olympic Committee, the WBC, the WBA, all these different organizations, according to them, it is. It doesn't matter what you or me or anyone else think. Clenbuterol is a steroid, and
Yeah,
Clennell
sure.
Alvarez took. Doesn't matter where it came from. Doesn't matter who gave it to him. He took it. I mean, listen, he did take it, and it is a steroid. It's a steroid-like substance, and it
Yeah,
does
it's a
things as far
performance
as
enhancer. Sure. If
yes,
anybody's
yes.
ever used clenbuterol in the past, you go out, have a pizza, take some clenbuterol, go run a mile, and you probably lost weight. I mean, it's a wonder drug.
Yeah, it's for body weight and stuff,
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, is it going to be is it an anabolic steroid? No, but it's a steroid like a performance enhancer. So again, he can't take it. He took it. No matter where he got it, he needs to be more responsible as to where and where he takes it. Yes, though there are Donnie. Also, Clemson moved up, I believe. They're up to 12 o'clock. I believe they're going to be at
Mhm.
3:30 or later. They're up to 12 as well. So a lot of these teams taking some precautions and getting some games in earlier,
Yep.
which is a good idea with all the weather. Make sure you're abreast of what's going on in your game as you bet it this weekend. Let's go
The good thing
into
about that between baseball, Jeff, and college football now, teams move up or change the time frame. The good part about it is you can't really, they're not going to have a running clock because obviously that would kill bets out there, and it's not going to happen. But in baseball, like we got to hurry up and get this game in. Looks like we have a 2 hour window, and the ump calls everything 19 feet within the strike zone, so you can keep the game moving. Can't really do that in football. Like if it's an incomplete pass, you can't run the clock. So it's not going to have any. If you're looking at that saying, hey, you know what, the weather's coming, they're going to try to get out of there early. You can't really get out of there early in football because there's a clock.
sure. You got to just play the game.
Yeah.
Do you think the fight will go the distance? Do you think Triple G will win? No, I don't think Triple G will win. And fight going the distance? Yeah, I would say it would. I think Canelo Alvarez wins by decision. But we'll see. I got to look over the fight. I'm going to do a video later for it. Thursday night football, Donnie. Last night. Why don't you update us on this? I didn't watch a whole lot of this fight. I went out and got a haircut and did some things. I was out on the town, as they say. What went on, Donnie, last night? I know AJ Green had a big night, 3 touchdowns. I did pretty well on FanDuel, Donnie. I joined FanDuel for the first time. I did a little
There you go.
FanDuel thing, and I won money. How about that? What went on in this game, Donnie?
Yeah, no, quick, if really quick on the game. Bengals got out early. Ravens looked like they didn't even want to be there. Ravens made it a little bit closer in the second half, as everybody does, like an NBA game. Doesn't matter if you're down 30 points in the NBA game, it's probably going to be tied somewhere in the third quarter. They drew within a touchdown, but just couldn't stop the bleeding out there. I was really impressed last night by Cincinnati overall. I thought Dalton again was really good. Outside we talked about the game last week versus the Indianapolis Colts, where that interception on the first drive and played a clean game. They're out. Thought he did well last night. AJ Green couldn't cover him. Boyd was great in the slot. John Ross, I have no idea why he's still on an NFL team. What a super bust as a top 10 pick at a wide receiver. But Mixon's going to be good. And the defense played well. Look, they had the advantage last week. And Jeff, if we even flip forward to next week, one of those games that we thought would be an easy win for Carolina at home, Jeff. Now you have Cincinnati coming to town off a mini bye from getting that win over the Ravens. A little bit extra time to prepare, and you're going to have a tough game for the Carolina Panthers interdivision down in Atlanta. So look out for that Cincinnati team coming in next week 2-0 to Carolina. But on the other hand, the Ravens, I don't know. So, their offense moved the football. Joe Flacco statistically had a very good game, but threw a couple interceptions, had a key fumble. Sometimes he just looks disengaged out there, and his best play, as we all know, is if the pocket breaks down, just launch a punt down the field, hope you get some pass interference, which he did on occasion last night, but not an impressive night from the Bengals, from the Ravens perspective, but that's what you get week 2. Who are you really week 1? Are you the team that won by 50 week 1? Or you're the team that went on the road and didn't look so good week 2 and took a loss interdivision? Now you have the Cincinnati Bengals, Jeff, sitting at 2-0 with 2 AFC wins heading down into the season now. Impressive.
Maybe I'm wrong here, Donnie, but I'll be interested to hear your opinion. I mean, look at the Ravens. I mean, you put up 23 points. Flacco throws 55 times for 376, 2 interceptions. I feel like they've gotten away from their identity as a football team offensively. I mean, I guess this is the new Ravens throwing the ball. I guess I
Yeah,
shouldn't be too mad about it.
They had to last night though, because they were down quick in that football game.
But is
So
this long
sometimes you
term?
have
What?
that MO
All
or
right.
game plan out there. No, I don't think so. I think there'll be a lot more balance because the Ravens do like to lean on the defense. And let's not forget, CJ Mosley goes down with a bone bruise. I know a lot of people are out there going, woo, glad it's not an ACL. Yeah, I get him glad it's not an ACL, but he's probably going to miss at least a month or more with a bone bruise in his knee. That's a devastating injury for the defense. And you saw them for the rest of the game. Looked like they couldn't stop a damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Flacco's always had that kind of discord. I mean, he's always, he just kind of doesn't do anything. He's just like, walks around and has that same look on his face. Um, he did what he could last night. I mean, but he gave up too many points. That was kind of the issue here. And the Bengals, they continue to play well. I mean, they got a new offensive line. You got some players coming in. You went out and got some guys in the draft. Billy Price, nice move there. You look at this receiving core. Obviously some playmakers. Defensively, they're always very strong. I mean, you have a nice mix, Donnie. I kind of remember saying this during the draft and everything like that. They went out and kind of got a nice veteran young guy, kind of cohesion. You got some young guys, Jesse Bates, Sam Hubbard, guys like that. But you still have your old veterans, Geno Atkins, Carlos Dunlap, players like that, Drake Kirkpatrick. A
Yeah,
nice
Burfict will
mix.
be coming back, their leader.
Yeah.
You say what you want as what type of leader he is, but he does inject a spark into that football team.
But
So
you look at this team and you say to yourself, okay, I've seen this team before do this 2-0, do good in the regular season. Listen, all it's going to be about with Cincinnati is it might be a great bet week to week, but from a long term standpoint, it's can they do anything in the playoffs? That's the big question. If they can get there, we'll see with this coaching staff. I just again, this is another situation, kind of like you know the one we talked about yesterday. I feel like this team's going the right way. The only issue I have is that head coach. Why didn't you go out and get rid of this guy? Bring in a younger a coach that can add a little bit of kind of pizzazz into your team. Like, what was the point of keeping Marvin Lewis around? Because he's your wild card, Donnie. I mean, at the end of the day,
yeah,
he
I mean,
can't
I guess
win
it's
the
familiarity. I mean, Cincinnati's notoriously a very, very cheap football team with the being a family-owned business, as they like to treat it. Hire every single person in your family to run the front office. But it must be just like the situation down in Dallas when you look at Jason Garrett, where the owner or the vice president can tell him whatever he wants to hear, and it gets done. Like, I don't want this guy on my team. All right, he's going to put this guy on my team. Okay, that's fine. Hey, next game, throw it deep to AJ Green 4 times. Okay. Thank you, boss. I will certainly do that. So I guess they don't want one of those strong presences in there. Like, say what you want about John Gruden. You're not going to tell John Gruden who to throw it to or who to cut on your football team or do what you will. But maybe in that, it's always about being cheap. If you fire a head coach, typically he's not on the last year of his contract, so you have to pay it out. And like they penny pinch over there in Cincinnati. So maybe they don't want to pay out the last year of the contract.
Yeah, good point. Donnie, let's get into little college football. This is the right side of campus. We thank you for listening today. Make sure you hit the like button and say hello here on the chat. DT Duggs, what's happening? Ski Profits in here. Joey Kerr, Greg, John Roy, Dom Ricci. A lot of people in here. Welcome in. As a Jets fan, I'm not going crazy like my whole neighborhood. I actually think Miami will be a tough game this Sunday. Yeah, I mean, Donnie, I listen a lot to Mike Francesa, and some of these Jets fans, man, they love it. But hey, listen, you got to give them, the word today is, or the phrase today is a moment in the sun. You got to give these Jets fans a little bit of a moment in the sun. I mean, they've had a bad team for a long time. Maybe they have a quarterback now who, look, by the way, on the first play, worst throw I've ever seen. One of the worst throws, but they came back and played well. So I guess the Jets are going to overreact. We'll see how they play this week at Miami. Donnie, college football last night. There were a few games on the card. First of which were BC and Wake. Fun game this was. 75 points scored. No one could really stop really anyone. I mean, Anthony Brown, big game for the Boston College side. 304, 5 touchdowns. How about Brown? Great yesterday for BC, and they cover as a favorite. So there you go. I was concerned about this one all week. Where do you go with this? Do you trust BC as the favorite? Do you give them that credit? I still don't love them defensively, but it's a fun game to watch, Donnie. Over was an easy winner.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch. I mean, the games were on earlier. I was running around doing stuff, so I didn't catch too much of either one of those early football games. But I always like to, Jeff, it's always fun when you play like a Monday morning quarterback type situation. And I just like to shout out the Sharks who saw the weather coming and pushed that game down to 49. Thought they got the best number. Hey, we hit that number and drove it all the way down. We even got under 54, 53, and 52. We pushed it to 49. And then they changed the time on you. And then these two teams ripped it up out on the field. Shout out to the people that got the 49, 50, 51, 52, 53 under and thought you had that storm bearing down your neck and stole that. Nice hit.
Yeah, it worked out well for you. This game was over at halftime for you. Um, Donnie, I want to tell everyone about Beat the Prick. Beat the Prick contest here at SBRcontest.com. It's a contest that I'm in. It's a contest that a lot of us are in. Be sure to join today. It's a fun contest where basically you pick 5 sides totals through either college or NFL. Your goal is to beat the prick. You enhance and get points and things like that each week. And you have a chance to win cash or prizes totaling 50 grand. I think first place gets $10,000. Join Beat the Prick today. Free contest. It's been going on, I think the 14th year. You can see the pricks picks every week when you bet. Donnie, let's take a look at see what the pricks on this weekend before we move on. I am currently, Donnie, in week 1. I was 197th out of over 1,000 people. So a couple of my NFL picks came in. Let's see what the pricks on this week, Donnie. You want to see what he's on? Let's see here. 1,292 people were in, by the way. Hang on here. So yeah, make sure you join the Beat the Prick contest today. You can go there by going to SBRcontest.com, SBRcontest.com, beattheprick.com. You'll be right in the same area. Don, okay, he's on Indiana, -14 against Ball State. Big favorite there. He's on Nebraska, -10. Sharp bet there.
My man Sharp right there.
Got it before it moved. How about that? He's also on Northern Illinois, -14 against CMU Chippewas. Doesn't believe in Tony Polian and crew. He took Florida against Colorado State. Florida -20. And he took Alabama -21 against Ole Miss. Literally big chalk in every game. Seems like a quality idea. Many of them are home teams though.
Home
So
teams. There you go,
that
Jeff. Home teams, baby. Damn.
about that. Beat the prick. Join the contest today. Donnie, we keep it moving here. Charlotte, they got a big win last night against the Old Dominion Monarchs. And Bobby Wilder's team, Donnie, 0-3. Not good for them, especially when you're trying to make a bowl. Um, Teams like Charlotte and Liberty are winnable games. You haven't been able to do those. Charlotte just can't move the ball, Donnie, through the air. I mean, they depend too much on the ground game. Defensively, they're not great. Two interceptions for Stephen Williams, quarterback for Old Dominion. Nice win for Charlotte last night, Donnie.
No, it was a nice win for Charlotte. You know what's interesting about ODU, Jeff? They're in that, Beltway area down there, where Virginia Tech likes to recruit, get into that Tidewater area. A lot of really, really good recruits, which as you see, Virginia Tech stacks it up. You even see the teams from Florida go into that Tidewater area and try to take some of those athletes away. ODU, Jeff, has a real built-in advantage. I mean, look, their stadium, it's getting redone. I'm not sure if it's done yet this year or will be next year with the expansion, but they'll sell out, 30,000 seat stadium in that area. I'm just surprised, and I like the head football coach, and he did have the team, so to speak, on the right track to build up from basically an unknown to try to get into that P5 conversation and keep moving his team forward. But they seem to be taking a backtrack the last 2 years on getting those athletes in there, running their offense the way it's supposed to be. But they have a lot of support in that area in a fertile football ground to recruit. Haven't seen the advantages of it yet, Jeff. You should be winning games like you lost yesterday. That's just unacceptable at ODU.
No, I mean, you look at some of the great players really in sports over the last 15 years. Michael Vick, Allen Iverson, and they
Yes.
were both from that area. There's a lot
Yeah.
of great players down at Hampton and in that Tidewater
Yeah,
area, as you see
Percy
Hampton
Harvin from
Road
that.
and
I mean,
stuff.
there's
Of
five
course.
star after five star after five star come out of there. You're right.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at you look at again, if you're a black athlete, let's say Donnie, and I have the opportunity to go to historic Howard or Hampton, who are beating Division 1 teams. Why would I go to fucking Charlotte? I mean, Charlotte didn't win anything. I mean, or why would I go to ODU? I mean, a lot of these teams. I just think for me, if you're looking at certain types of schools, I'd be more inclined to go to the historically black school that has some tradition. They're going out and beating teams. They're going for it.
No, you would go to
ODU.
ODU. You would go to
I
ODU
don't
because
know.
they play a better schedule and have better facilities than the
Yeah, you might. Well, maybe,
Davidson.
but for me, like certain, if I'm looking at certain things, I mean, that Howard University is historic, man. I mean, that's historic. That's where Obama went, I believe, and all these different people. Schools like that's important to some of these kids. But you're right. I mean, you obviously are going to get better
Did
facilities. But
Obama
you're
go to
right.
Harvard?
Maybe he did. I don't know. Either way, uh, I, they're both H schools, so I get confused. But
Yeah.
uh, let's look that up, actually. I'd like to know. I want to say he went to Howard for some reason. I might be wrong though. Okay, he went to Harvard Law School. Okay, his undergrad was at
He went to some big
Columbia,
schools, I think, though. Yeah, yeah.
Columbia College. Interesting. So there you go. Maybe it might have been his wife that went to Howard. But either way, Donnie. One other one. This was kind of a minor game. No one really bet on it. I don't think. Utah State dropped 73 last night on Tennessee Tech.
Oh,
The
oh.
Eagles had some trouble last night, 73-12. So nice win for the Aggies. That's a tough trip for Tennessee Tech heading out to Utah. Big time offense, Jordan Love. That's a tough one there. Donnie, also wanted to bring this up. Not sure how many people saw it, but I thought I'd bring it up. Davidson, Steph Curry, home of Steph Curry. Davidson University won last night, Donnie, 91-61. They scored 152 points in this football game. Defense was completely optional. Now, to put this in perspective, Donnie, basketball season, the Davidson Wildcats basketball team last year scored in 33 games, 91 points or more, only 5 times last year. An absurd football game last night between Guilford College and Davidson. There were mammoth numbers in this game. Um, and what's crazy is Davidson only threw the ball 8 times, 152 points, 685 rushing yards. There were over 1,000 rushing yards combined. And Davidson's total yards combined in this game, 1,662. A wild football game, Donnie. 91-61.
No, it was. Yes, I saw the highlights on there. But what are they? They're playing Division 3 teams. Are they just trying to get their football team together before they move up? And are they looking to get into a P5 conference? Like, what's their future at Davidson in football? Can't be
No, no,
D3, right?
no. They're they're doing it like any Division 1 team does, playing a FCS team. They're basically just playing, kind of, the easy games in the beginning. They'll get into their FCS schedule. They'll play, the different teams in their conference. This is just kind of one of those, play-in game kind of things, or the
Yeah.
early paycheck games or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but all right, Donnie, let's move into NFL. We'll get through a little quick NFL. We'll just take a shot at a couple of these NFL games this weekend. We'll see what you're thinking here with some of these. Obviously, we talk about a lot of these games throughout the week, and I want to let everyone know Sunday morning, Donnie and I will be on live 12 o'clock Eastern for closing line. We go over each game. We bring on a guest. We have some fun. We give out some picks, and we have our halftime show as well. So make sure you check out that. Also, tomorrow, the closing line will be on for college football. It will be me and Ian Cameron. Ian Cameron will join me. We'll go over the
Woo!
college football card. So make sure you join us for all the football stuff going on throughout the weekend. Donnie, I want to get your opinion here on a couple NFL games as we head into the weekend. I will start with one game that will be near and dear to your heart. We'll start out with the Eagles and Bucks. Eagles 3, total 44. Obviously, still no Carson Wentz. But we head down to take on a tough Bucks team that was very good offensively last week. Got to get the pass rush working this week. This is a bit different of a defense than the one you faced last week. This is a better defense. This is a team that obviously doesn't make a ton of mistakes. What do you like here? Do you think the Eagles get the job done? A lot of the public on the birds. The line hasn't moved at all. What do you think here with the Eagles Bucks?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time last week. I mean, the Eagles defense is only technically getting better, right, Jeff? So we had Hicks last week playing with Grugier Hill on one side and Gurry on the other side. Now you're going to head into this week. You get your old stalwart back, Nigel Bradham. So if there's a weak link on this Eagles football team on defense, somebody please point it out to me. If you're running with a front line that's as devastating as the Eagles have, now you have your two linebackers, and you have a really good secondary back there that's extremely deep. That's the good part about it, because you're going to need that if you're going to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look, if anybody watched that whole game through with Tampa, and you can just write it off and say, well, that's just the New Orleans defense. That wasn't the case in that football team. Ryan Fitzpatrick pushed every correct button. If there was a one-on-one throw in there, Jeff, he put it right on the wide receiver. If the pocket broke down and there was nothing there, Ryan Fitzpatrick picked up 5-6 yards and slid down to make the play. If there was a tight window over the middle, Ryan Fitzpatrick hit it. Did you want to lock on the one receiver? No. Mike Evans, Deshaun Jackson, Godwin all got off in that football game. And we even been waiting, Jeff, for O.J. Howard to make an appearance, and he actually did on Sunday. There are a ton of weapons on that football team. And yet, look, I'm an Eagles fan. The Eagles are the better overall football team, yes. But if Carson Wentz is on the football field with Alshon Jeffrey this weekend, they blow the Tampa Bay Bucks right out of the water, because they would be able to exploit that weak secondary that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have. But you still have to look at the overall totality, Jeff, of the situation. This isn't a fine-tuned machine on offense. And you know who played one of the better parts last week for the Eagles, Jeff, in key situations on their last touchdown drive even, and returning punts, getting penalties, and getting positive yards back? Oh, yeah, Darren Sproles hurt his hamstring in practice this week, so he's probably not going to go in this football game as another added weapon that you're going to look to dump down. Should Jay Ajayi have a good game? Yes, the Eagles have a very good offensive line. Should Corey Clement get more of a workload in this game? Absolutely, he should. But where are the weapons on the outside? Nelson Aguilar is a very good wide receiver, Jeff, when he plays second fiddle to somebody who can roll the coverage like Alshon Jeffrey can. You saw last week, what do you have, 7 catches for like 35 yards? And what did you get out of Mike Wallace last week? Absolutely nothing. So the Eagles are a little bit depleted on offense, and Tampa Bay will score in this football game. There's a reason why that number hasn't moved off of 3 or ballooned to 4, and everybody and their mom loves the Eagles. They do have extra time to prepare in this game. That is correct. But that Tampa Bay offense last week wasn't a fluke. If Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffrey on the field this week, Jeff, it's a much easier game. But Nick Foles is going to have to step into being Super Bowl Nick Foles here and go, 25 of 31 for 290 or 300 yards and 3 scores to keep up in this football game. Should be a good one, but I think the Eagles can win this game, yes. but I'm not putting my money anywhere around this football game. Tampa Bay is going to be a tough out here.
No, I hear you. Is there a betcast Sunday? Nah, Guan, I think we've told you that a couple times. Betcasts are over, as far as I know. I might have one from time to time. We might have one from time to time, but um, we got a ton to do. I mean, we can't be on the air every single hour of the day. Uh, I know some people like doing that, but I can't. Gabe loves doing that. I can't. I give the guy credit. I mean, that's a lot of time on the air. But Donnie, betcasts after all we do on Sundays. And the games just weren't very good. I mean, last year particularly. Yeah, a lot of people coming in talking about this game. Ski Profit likes Nick Foles and then the Eagles. Nick Foles is 6-0. Yeah, I think he is. Yeah, he's won 6 in a row. But again, I mean, this is a bit different of a situation than some of those games. Darren Sproles, Donnie, always seems to be hurt now. Seems brittle. Might be time for him to move on. Maybe he should ride off.
No, you got to leave. It's funny because he didn't even get hurt in the game. So you're seeing the injury come out like hamstring. Like he had 10 days to get ready. Where did he do? Hurt his hamstring in Atlanta. He's not going to be ready. But we all know with hamstrings, which I laughed about Leonard Fournette, like, yeah, I'm going to give it a go Friday. Should be good to go. Athletes never know their hamstring more than any other muscle or part of their body that they're in tune with. They have no idea how the hamstring works. When you tweak a hamstring, it's not a 1, 2, or 3 or 4 day ordeal. You know what I mean? If I see a hamstring injury, I automatically write that player off for the week.
Big Dick Nick could have a big game, says Scott Murbaugh.
I hope he does. Hey, I hope he does.
You know that Big Dick Nick thing? That kid in the video that said that during the NFC Championship? I know that kid. He's from South Philly, Jimmy Harity. He blew up off that thing. He was on Catfish and all sorts of different shit after that. Yeah, Big Dick Nick thing was created by him. So that was a South Philly thing. What else do we have here? Yeah, a lot of people talking about the different situation and defenses. It's also a different situation for the Eagles. I mean, this defense is not good for Tampa. It should be able to move the ball. But we need to see Nick, not make mistakes. Complete some passes. You're right. You're not dealing with a ton. What's Alshon Jeffrey's status? When's that little fuck coming back?
Word on the street, they're getting ready for a nice little reunion next week, Jeff, at home against the Colts defense between him and Wentz, which would make a lot of sense.
For me, I'd be more interested in waiting. Let's wait till the 7th when Minnesota comes in. You'll beat the Colts. Let's settle down here, Donnie. Let's get back on the 7th. Which, by the way, Donnie, I think we got to try to make that game. 425, 10-7. We got to try to make that game. I know I will.
I'll be in my living room.
Alshon Jeffrey returns to practice. There you go. That's good. Chargers Bills. Talked about this game. I think the Bills are the side here. Let me ask Donnie what he thinks. You get the Bills are up to 7.5. You get 7.5 now. Buffalo, Donnie. How about that? They can't beat the Chargers. Chargers ain't going 0-2. They'll win by double digits. Give me the Bills. Not so fast. 42.5 on the total. Bills in a better situation this week. Weather's fine. You don't got to worry about rain and rawness, and you got your quarterback now. Let's see what Josh Allen can do, Donnie. I mean, maybe he can move the ball a little bit. You still have some okay weapons. You got McCoy. You got some other players. What do you think about the Bills this week, Donnie?
Yeah, this is, one of those week twos where, look, there's a reason why I like to sit it out the first couple of weeks because you're just betting on the absolute unknown out here. Are the Bills that bad last week? Well, now they come home. Were the Ravens that good? Now they go on the road. You saw what it was. Now you have a kid that came in. At least he got his, feet wet in an NFL game, so to speak, in the pouring rain, albeit, and got killed. But now he's going to come back, be the starter. He's going to take all the reps during the week. It's always nice when heading into the football game, you're going to give it a go. But I don't know. What Chargers are you going to get? You're going to get the Chargers that don't turn the football over and play pretty good defense and say you have a rookie quarterback. I'm going to embarrass you. Last time we saw Nate Peterman trying to get some run, we embarrassed him. It's a hard one to bet. Like, yes, in the NFL, you're getting 7.5 and you're at home and it's hard to pass up. But I have no idea what Josh Allen am I going to get. Am I going to get the one where we're going to protect him in the pocket and make short throws and not worry about the final score, just trying to keep my quarterback upright? Or am I going to just say, hey, yeah, kid, get out there and make your mistakes, and he has 3 turnovers, can't hit the broadside of a barn, and is scared out of his mind in an NFL game? Like, I don't know what I'm going to get out of this one. So it's a tough one for me to read either way. I wouldn't be anywhere near this game because I have no idea what's going to happen.
Ultra Trotter. The Bills are trash, though. I can't bet them. Walter, it doesn't work like that in the NFL, man. You can't bet on good and bad teams. Sometimes the line just sticks out. This line's barely moved. Nobody wants to bet the Bills. It's a cross country trip. It's a tough spot for the Chargers. It just is. I mean, technically, you look at this game and you say to yourself, why isn't this a 14-point win, 17-point win? But Donnie, you know better than I that this NFL doesn't work like that. Look at the
No, it
Dolphins
doesn't.
last week. The Dolphins were, no one thought they'd beat the Tennessee Titans. Dolphins stink. They're not winning anything. They're not winning any games. They controlled that game. It's just how it goes, man. You can't bet these 80, 90% favorites and expect to win. The NFL's not built on that, especially after last year, Donnie. The NFL was a big knock for a lot of books. I know they had a good year as always, but there were a lot of dogs that came in last year. A lot of favorites came in.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
Patriots.
going to be Yeah, I don't think that's going to be replicated every week. You look at the betting numbers in this game. Where are we? Bills, Bills, Bills. There we are.
Over
76%.
80%, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. You got 89% on the. There's a lot of people on the Chargers in this game, and line just kind of hung around 7.5. I think they'll win, but I think it's a 24-21 kind of game, something like that. You can't bet on good and bad teams because as we saw, you look at the first week. I mean, like Donnie said, the Ravens looked great. Last night, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't stop anybody. You can't let week one cloud judgment. I don't think the Bills are good. I'm not going to try to tell you that they are. In this kind of game, just don't really look at that kind of thing. Um, what do we got here? John Garcia asking about some blood thing. Did I hear about this blood thing? No, I don't. I don't know anything about drinking blood conspiracies. No. Donnie, do you know anything about that?
No, no, I've never tried to drink blood. I do apologize.
Me either. It doesn't sound very appetizing, put it that way. Raiders Broncos. We'll do one more here. See what Mr. Donnie Brightside think. Donnie Brightside. That's your new name. Donnie
Oh,
Brightside.
okay.
Because I'm
Somebody will
Mr.
take.
Brightside. You're a bright guy, Donnie. You brighten
Yeah,
people
I do.
up.
Yeah.
What do we got here? Denver and Oakland. Denver 6, total 45.5. Here's another team that looked
Yep.
okay, but then looked pretty bad in the second half. Listen, Derek Carr stinks to me. I don't like the guy. This is a game where, to me, you wonder though, is there value in Oakland? I mean, I like Denver at 3, 2.5, 3. Now you're laying 6, paying a little bit more to lay with the Broncos here. People don't like Oakland. Donnie, is Oakland the team we saw in the first half, or are they the team we saw in the second half?
Look, I think there's going to be a mixed mash in this going through, John Gruden weeding out his guys. I even saw people out there with super hot takes like, well, Carr's not Gruden's guy, and they gave an out clause at the end of the year that would only cost him $7 million in dead money to cut loose David Carr. I don't put anything past John Gruden because he's just a weird, squirrely individual. And coaches are going to coach the way, like, if you have full organizational, activity that you control, you're going to want your guys and find new guys. But for some reason, Gruden can never find a quarterback that he likes. You'll be able to groom a quarterback. So he has a talented one here, but just looking at this here, Jeff, it's too many points for the Denver Broncos. You're right. I want Denver in a situation where, let me get that last field goal. Is Denver the better overall team? And at home, it's hard to play in Denver? Absolutely. But in a division rivalry game, when you're laying close to a touchdown, these two teams know each other, albeit it's a new regime with John Gruden in town. But the Denver Broncos. The Oakland Raider players know the Denver Broncos players and vice versa there. I just think it's too many points. And look, Case Keenum last week, say what you want. Why are we a gunslinger? Like, I think the Denver Broncos got Case Keenum to manage the game control and make scoring drives when needed. Not to say, throwing the football, just yelling out, you only live once. YOLO every single time you wanted to throw a pass down the field. Stick to yourself, stick to your guns in the pocket. I think it'll be a lot more conservative this week, Jeff, after going off the handle with a couple turnovers last week and keep the game close. I like the Oakland Raiders here with the points early. I'm going to take a look at some deciding factors, see what some of the final inactive lists look like of some practice reports today. But I'm not going to lie, Jeff. I mean, look, there's some bad things and good things to take out of the Oakland Raiders. They were up at the half against the, Super Bowl champion, as most people already put them, the Rams, the hottest ticket on the market. They had them there. Dumb David Carr in the second half, or Derek Carr, in the second half, throwing stupid interception after stupid interception out there. If he doesn't throw moronic interceptions, I would like to see the way that game closes. But I just don't like the position that the Broncos are in, saying you got to win by 7 just to cover this football game. I think the Oakland Raiders can keep this close.
Donnie, I want a one-word answer. I don't want to. I don't want
Yeah.
to. I don't want preambles.
You
I don't
don't
want
want you don't want
paragraphs.
no
No,
Ian Cameron? Okay.
no, 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 no. I want a quick one-word answer. Will Aaron
Uh,
Rodgers play this week? Will he start?
yes.
Thank you. I agree with you. I
If
don't
he
think we have
if
to
he
go
look,
on.
yeah, that was my one word, but I do want to get a piece in. Like, look, if Aaron Rodgers played last week, right, and he can't hurt his knee anymore, he's gonna be out there. The dude is going to be out there. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, I mean he's a tough motherfucker, as we know. So yeah, I don't disagree
Get a
with you on
big
that.
ass brace on that knee. You know the referees from last year with him getting hurt versus Minnesota. If you breathe on Aaron Rodgers this week, it will be a penalty. He is going to play.
Yeah, agreed. Donnie, we have a college game tonight. Why don't you break down the numbers on this?
Memphis and Georgia State heading to town 105, 106, Jeff. About 69% of the bets coming in here early, Jeff, on Memphis. Opened up at 26 at Pinnacle, 24.5 at Chris. Now sitting over 4 touchdowns at 28.5, Jeff. Do we trust Memphis to come out and lay the wood here, or is Penny Harkin have something to say about this one?
I'll tell you what, man. These games, this midweek games, bad games, ugly ones. Um, here's what I'll tell you. I'll break down both sides here. First of all, do I trust Memphis? Not particularly, because I've seen them in these kind of situations before falter. This is not Paxton Lynch or Ferguson at the helm, Donnie, for these two teams. This is a team that does not go particularly quick tempo wise. They're only at about 67 and a half plays a game. 67 and a half plays a game is slow. I mean, these are long drives generally. And that's a concern when you got to lay over 4 touchdowns. I look at Georgia State and I ask myself, are they worthy of being this big a favor or big of underdog? I don't think. I mean, I think they're a slightly better team than people think. They have a decent quarterback in Dan Ellington. You mentioned Penny Hart, a guy that can catch some balls down the field. They're a team that can score some points. I think they can get to 20, I want to say. For me, if I'm getting 20 and a half here, it's hard for me to take Memphis. I don't trust this team generally laying big numbers. I talked before, if this was Paxton Lynch, I'd lay it. If this was another quarterback, I'd lay it. But Brady White is still a little bit, kind of green around the gills. I'm not running to bet on a team in Memphis that generally doesn't cover these kind of games. They don't cover big numbers. I'm not saying I wouldn't bet it if you like it. It's not a game that I'm going to be betting on or send a play out on. But it's another dusty Thursday or Friday game that isn't going to have much in the way of interest.
No, yeah, I have no, I have zero interest in this football game tonight to even watch, or I'll catch some highlights and see what some of the stats came out. But this game doesn't really interest me, Jeff, on a Friday night to the least here. But hey, it's college football. People are going to bet on it, man. If it's on
If
TV,
you
it's going to be wagered on, man.
if Anthony Miller was still at Memphis and they had that big offense from last year, a year or two ago, I'd probably be more
Paxton
interested in it.
Lynch.
But yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be more interested in running the football if you're Memphis. And look, this Georgia State team's done a decent job. I mean, they played Kennesaw State, who is a top 10 FCS team. They're a triple option team. Held them to 148 yards. They played NC State last week. Held them to 115 yards on the ground. You got to wonder how Memphis will attack this game. I'm willing to say I think you know Georgia State's quarterback can do a little bit for them. Maybe Penny Hart catch a touchdown or two. To me, it looks like I don't know, a 37-17 type of game, something like that. I just don't think we see a 30-point blowout here, but I could be wrong. I honestly could. It's not a game I put a ton of time into. Donnie, we'll look to wrap it up here on the show. Weekend is calling. You got any plans for today? You going out to the gym? What are you doing today, Donnie? Friday is
Yeah, man,
usually.
always got to get a little work in. Got my hair cut yesterday, so I got that out of the way. But I do have a show tonight with Jimmy the Bag. The Audible will go wrong over the entire NFL football card. We'll scrub it up a little bit, see what's what. Maybe throw some wagers out there also. And then on Sunday, as we said, Jeff, you'll be coming back with me on the closing line with a special guest at 12:20 Eastern Time. Whale Capper will come on for about 10 minutes. We'll pick out a couple games, go over that as well. That's a fun show on Sunday. It's fast moving. Lines are flying. Christmas tree on the board out there. So we'll have a good time on Sunday as well. But football, and more football, Jeff, is always here on Sportsbook Review, especially on Football Fridays.
I'm gonna go see White Boy Rick a little bit later, Donnie.
Ooh.
I'm excited for that. Also, Donnie, I wanted to ask you. You saw my workout yesterday. How do you think I did? Did I look good doing that? I look like an
That's yeah.
absolute beast.
Yeah, you know what? A quick point on that. What you're doing is what I would never be doing in the gym right now. You know, getting that
Yeah.
almost like that CrossFit type workout. Like I'm an old man now, and I always said when I turned 22, graduated college, after my last football game in college and last technical football workout, I swore to myself I would never do another leg workout. No more squats, no more power cleans, no more anything. And I haven't done one since. Like when I go in the gym now, it's one body part a day, like 30 minutes, and I'll do a little ab work or something like that. I never like it brings back pain to me, Jeff, because it reminds me of like practice. That's hard work to stick to it because if that was what the gym workout would be for me today, I would stop going. I would have stopped going to the gym at 24 years old.
I'll tell you what, too. That one yesterday I did was, I mean, it's tough because you're doing a lot of stuff. You're moving around, you're getting down on the
Hmm.
floor, you're doing, I'm
Tires
telling you,
and throwing the medicine ball.
yeah,
Yeah, I can't.
yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do it,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, like pushing those sleds. I'm telling you, for all you little fucks that want to talk about Big Ben's a fat fuck, come out and do the workout with me and see if you could do it. We'll go up against each other. Because all you skinny motherfuckers out there that act like you're tough, most of you are out of shape too, and you can't do it. I'm starting to get some stamina, Donnie, right now. I'm starting to get back to when I was in high school, a football boy. I'm telling you, I never played no football. But I can do those are tough, man. Those are tough things to do. And you
Power
know what?
clean, squats, deadlifts. I swore it off. The minute my last college football game ended in Western Pennsylvania, my senior year of 1999, that was the last leg day that I performed, Jeff. You'd be proud of me.
Yeah, the leg days are tough, man. Still, as I start to go more, I remember Donnie when I first started doing this. I couldn't like the elliptical. I mean, after like 10 minutes, I'm like, I got to get off this thing. Now it's like I'm just I don't even get tired really. I'm starting to build it, and then once that happens, I got the waist trainer. It'll start coming off quickly. Donnie, before we go, I wanted to answer this question. Big man, if someone made a movie about you, who would we want to play your character? That's easy. Jerry Ferrara. He played Turtle on Entourage. I think he would. I think he would. I think he would do me justice, Donnie.
Not Bobby Bacala.
No, no. Bobby's a bit old. I feel like Turtle could probably pull off my certain swag that I have. So yes, I would say him. You would pick Philip Rivers, right, Donnie? He would play you.
Yeah, you know what? He probably would. Like we could be boys. You know, like maybe a stunt though. Like I'm not as tall or as big as Philip Rivers, but if he was ever in a movie, I could probably get away with being like a front end like stunt double though.
Yeah, no, I think you could. That'd actually be true. All right, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks to everyone at SBR for putting on the show today. Thanks to Donnie Wright, said great as always. We look forward to seeing you over the weekend here on the channels. Everyone have a great day. Enjoy your Friday. Bye bye.